Happy Thursday, October 12th. Started a little bit prematurely there for the Instagram. My bad. That one will cut off. My bad. Anyway, it's Thursday. We're brought to you by Compliment, lovecompliment.com. That is our usual and always sponsor, presenter of this show. Prime Day, I think, is done. You missed that boat if you slept on it, but Plantapalooza longevity is just coming up still, just getting warmed up. So you can get on that list over at nomeatathlete.com/longevity. I shouldn't say get on the list. You can join in the action over at nomeatathlete.com/longevity. Lots of good content coming from superstars in the plant-based world. So that's what we got going on there. I'm adding Doug on Instagram. We'll see what his weekend plans entail. Another fall weekend. I feel like we're already at the weekend. It's funny, these weeks just fly by for me recently. And I think that's because maybe just because we're so busy with soccer, but it might be because this show ends on Thursday. That's the last day of our weekend. It always feels like Thursday is kind of the new Friday, which then makes one wonder, is Wednesday the new Thursday? Is Wednesday the new favorite day of the week? Because you're almost to what feels like Friday. I don't know.
It is a 4-day week this week, Matt. So that you have that going for you too.
Yeah, that's been a really big discovery of mine. That 3-day weekend always implies 4-day week, and really a lot of reasons to be happy about that.
Hey, Matt. Good morning.
How's it going?
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, thanks. Happy Thursday to you as well.
Yeah, it's So if you remember yesterday, you were talking about how you don't like the scary decorations in the morning when you're walking your kid to the bus stop, right?
Yep.
Freaking you out.
Yep.
Well, and I made fun of you a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I just said that I don't like the goofy inflatables. I like the spooky things.
Mm-hmm. And then you backtracked a little bit.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna open the door.
Okay.
That goes opening the door. All right. Okay. All right. So last night yesterday, 2 nights ago, terrible night's sleep, missed my run in the morning. So last night after the girls went down, I headed out for a 7-mile run around 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
In the dark. It was kind of foggy and misty outside, very fall-like, and I'm running along, having a great run, but in my head, not really paying much attention. And out of the corner of my eye, I see 3 girls hunched over, like in a little circle, all hunched over with like long hair, looking like they're getting into some mischief. And it freaks me out. I shoot way across the road, like jumping. I totally freaked out. It turns out it was just some like little kid skeleton type things that, but it was kind of freaky. It would have been freaky in the daytime, definitely freaky at night by yourself when you're not really paying attention. You're not expecting Halloween stuff. So anyway, all that's to say is that I was giving you a hard time when in reality, I'm kind of with you. I don't really want to be scared all the time.
And that's the point of the decorations, I think, is to actually be spooky and to make people feel spooked, which they never really have done. But I think they're getting better now that there's more demand for these decorations, that they are a little spookier. Yeah, so I think it's great. I don't mind that at all. But like I said, it's just you don't need that when you're facing a work day or a school day and it's 6:30 and you're tired. You don't need spookiness.
Or 9:30 and you're about to go to bed. You don't want to be freaked out.
Right. Yeah, we should save it all for one night. Well, that wouldn't be fun, but it'd be really fun that night if it was all saved for that night. But I'm not suggesting we do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing I've got going on was baseball playoffs. I thought I was going to be watching playoffs for several weeks, cheering on the Orioles, and I just thought that sounds perfect for October. Haven't really cared about October baseball in a long time, and I thought the Orioles are going to be this is good. I got at least a couple weeks of at least 1 week series last week. Well, they're done. They finished in 3 games. They weren't even particularly close games except for the first one. It was like the first game had some moments where you thought they might win. After that, you never even thought that. So it was very, very disappointing. Thankfully, I didn't watch the whole 162 game season, or if that's how many they still play, I don't know. But man, that would have been a major disappointment to watch all that and then this kind of playoff showing. So anyway, I'm not the
biggest. You're not a Braves fan at all, are you?
No, I'm really not. I will try to sort of watch baseball. Are the Braves doing okay? Are they in it or are they out?
They got beat up last night by the Phillies.
Okay. Your favorite
team. Yeah, yeah. I hate both of those teams. If they could just both eliminate each other, that'd be great.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. There's a certain charm to me to October fall baseball.
Mhm. Yep.
Mostly just nostalgia, I think. So I don't know. I'm trying to watch them. By the way, well, I'm going to spoil the first item of our weather report. The Taco Bell vegan nacho sauce is out today. Today's that day we've all been waiting for, October 12th. The nacho fries have been available since late September, but
Mhm.
even though they announced that the sauce was going to come nationwide, it wasn't actually out yet. Now it is. 2 Thursdays ago, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch Golden Bachelor debut, and I'm going to get some
Eat some taco nachos.
nacho fries. And it
Taco
was
Bell
a
nachos.
great Thursday night.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't get the nacho fries yet, obviously, or the vegan nacho sauce. And I didn't watch the Golden Bachelor, but we did watch it over the last weekend. We watched about 12 minutes of it, and then we didn't watch anymore because it was so bad. It was you can't watch it. It was just crazy. The women who came on there, like the initial where they get out of the limo and like try to make a first impression. After
Yeah.
like 4 women, you just couldn't watch anymore. It was just like crazy done up acting. It was just, I don't know.
Do you think it's worse than like normal Bachelor, or is it just that's the way Bachelor is now?
I haven't watched those shows in a long time. When I used to watch Bachelor or Bachelorette, which is not often, but I thought it was pretty normal. It was like at least normal people. I think
Yeah.
the problem now that reality TV is reality TV and you're trying to become a reality TV star, if you get any spot
Mhm.
on a show, you're
Mhm.
hoping that it leads to your own show. I think it just turns into everybody's acting. Everybody's just doing their own character that they've decided this is my thing. And I hate that. I hate when influencers do that too on like YouTube and stuff where it starts out good and genuine, like you're probably your guy Tony P or whatever. It starts out normal and then suddenly they're doing a
Uh-huh.
caricature of themselves and it's acting and it's no good anymore. So I'm
Yeah,
guessing
I
he
thought
went
the
along.
same thing about you listening to this show. It's like it started out as this genuine thing, but now you're like just all over the place. Impossible to
Yeah,
listen to.
right.
It's so difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible that anybody still comes. No, no,
Yeah,
just kidding.
it is.
No,
You're
I mean, I think you're right. I think you're totally right. It's because people even you don't even have to be on the show to the end, and you can still get it can become your career
right.
as a
Right.
reality TV show. Because then you go on to all these spinoffs, and you become an influencer, and you get all these brand deals, and
Right. Which
so
undermines the whole reality TV because then you're not seeing real people anymore,
right,
and
right.
it's not. And you're watching a show, a whatever produced show.
So
All
are
right.
you gonna get the nachos though?
Yes, I'm definitely gonna get that. I don't know if I'll do it tonight, but it's possible that I will do that tonight just to try it. It's not nachos; it's fries and the dipping sauce.
Do you think we can? What time do you think they start serving them?
Oh, I bet as soon as they open, probably already are. There's probably. I bet if you
We
Google
should
TikTok, you
maybe
see
Tuesday we should have a taste test. I've always wanted to do that. We haven't done it because no one wants to watch people eat, but I kind of think
No.
that'd be fun.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can wait till Tuesday. We'll see. But if I haven't had them by then, we can arrange that.
Hmm. Hey, Mr. Jeffrey says he's surprised we haven't touched on the new marathon world record.
Oh,
Chicago.
I didn't hear about that.
Oh, you didn't hear about it? Oh
Nope.
man, it's
Like a
incredible. I don't
sanctioned
know the guy's
actual,
name.
but not a sub 2 hour, right?
No, 2 hours and 35 seconds or something like that,
Wow.
which is absolutely incredible.
Kelvin Kiptum, maybe someone just wrote Kelvin
Kelvin,
Kiptum.
yeah, Kelvin Kipton is his third ever marathon. I mean, just stunningly fast and close to that 2 hour mark. And he said in a post race interview that he wasn't hurting, so he, maybe he could have gone faster.
I love how these marathons you get the people who are in the Olympics or setting world records, and they've in their life run like 1, 2, or 3 marathons. It's just such an interesting thing about the distance that it must take up that much out of it. I mean, I know because I've done some, but like at a very high level, I guess it must take so much out of you that like you really just can't run that many in your career or during your prime. I'm not sure what the philosophy is, why these people run so few, but it's such an interesting thing that like it's that grueling of an event.
Yeah, as Mr. Jeffrey points out, yeah, he was wearing the new prototype Alpha Fly. There's these new super shoes. What are your thoughts on the super shoes? Do you have any
I don't know
thoughts?
that much. I mean, I think is this like the Nike things, whether the huge
Yeah.
built up thing with the pointy heel? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if that
With the carbon plate that kind of like springs you forward a little bit.
yeah, I don't really know what to think about that. I mean, every sport, right? The equipment gets better, and
Yeah.
as long as it's staying within the guide, I mean the I guess the gut feeling like this feels like it's cheating or this doesn't feel like cheating. I don't know. I really don't know what I think about that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I think, I don't know. I have some mixed feelings about it.
Mhm.
It because I do. I mean, it definitely tends to help you, right?
Right.
Running is one of those things that if there's no like actual mechanism inside of it that's propelling you forward, then it is still your legs and your own strength and energy that's getting
Mhm.
you across each mile. But you're starting to get a little bit close with the technology that's going into these shoes, where it really is almost
Yeah.
helping aid you, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it so you can't compare athletes of one generation to a previous one, really, and you don't know who the true best ever was, especially in sports where it's not a specific time. Right? It's just they were on the field among other people in that area, and you don't know who's
Right.
best. Uh, but I mean, the same, the human performance technology, just of what we know
Sure.
about running and all that, like that's improving as well. So even if there wasn't this equipment technology improving, that other thing would be, and you'd always still say, well, these people are running in a different era when we know so much more. So I don't know. I don't care. As long as it's not cycling. As long as you're not running.
That technology, I mean, that's a good example where the technology has changed significantly, right? And it's really is way better to easier to ride a bike now than it was
Right.
20 years
For
ago.
sure. Yeah.
Um,
All right. Let's see. Mr. Jeffries here, obviously, because he said those things. Sarah Curran is here. Allie, Lori Stevens, Matt O'Connor, Kelly Kay, Dale Stevens, Phyllis Hauser, Anne Marie. These are all good, familiar faces. Love to see everybody here. I hope I got all the names. By the way, Anne Marie, I'm going to send you gut nurture. Yesterday, Anne Marie was complaining about not having gut nurture. I have a glut of gut nurture in my pantry.
Ooh.
I know. So I'm just going to ship it directly Anne Marie's way. So Anne Marie, send us. I don't know if we already have your address, but DM us that, please, in Instagram.
Wow.
And I will send that.
That's a perk. That's if you want to get on the inside and get hand delivered
Right.
packages from Matt Frazier, his own supply of gut nurture, then you got to start showing up every day. Anne Marie, she's a loyal listener.
Good things can happen, right? You show up every day for this thing, you deserve the most special of treatment, the red carpet treatment. And I like seeming like a good guy. You know what I just saw in Morning Brew the other day? I didn't look at Morning Brew today. The guy who invented, what was it? Sorry. A guy, a billionaire, extremely good. Oh, he invented duty-free shopping. He figured out the idea that let's start finding this way to get people to buy stuff when they're out of tax area in an airport. I don't know how. I don't even know what the specifics behind that are. But anyway, super billionaire. He gave away whatever his fortune was, 8 billion, not maybe more than that. He gave it all away except for 2 million he kept for his retirement. Yeah, he had 8 billion. He donated all that to different causes, all kinds of good things, rejected the billionaire lifestyle. He lived in a 2-bedroom rented apartment, took public transit, sported a $10 watch, flew economy until he was 75 years old. And all the stuff that he donated, he had a nonprofit, donated to Cornell, all these other things, but he mostly just donated anonymously. He just did all his donations so that no one would know he did it. And I mean, I think that is enviable and so interesting that he would do that.
That is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Very different from whoever that guy was everyone loved last year for a little while. I don't know if it's Patagonia or what, the guy who supposedly donated all his money to Planet Earth, only to find out it was a big tax scam or something like that. But anyway, I am happy to be a non-anonymous. If I do good things, I want everyone to know about it. I want everyone to know who I'm giving it to, how much I'm getting. So that's why, Anne Marie, I'm announcing it on the show rather than privately.
The free gut nurture that you didn't pay for.
Exactly. Right.
How generous of you.
And that
is awesome. That is really cool to give all that away anonymously. And $2 million is not very much money. Like
no, for your whole retirement, no way.
Yeah.
And not especially not if you're a billionaire who maybe before that was accustomed to living.
Yeah, you really are living, modestly. Not like crazy cheap. It's still a lot of money, but like you're living modestly. You're not living the billionaire lifestyle. That's for sure.
Right. But I think anonymous donation to me that says that you really just want to give stuff, and I guess you feel some amount of certainly you feel your own ego feels good that you anonymously gave, so it's not pure. Nothing's purely altruistic, but that's pretty close.
And how anonymous could it have been that now we know now there's
exactly maybe the whole time he was just waiting until he died. This is gonna be my legacy.
that morning brew
finally get linked. Exactly. All right. Anything else this morning, Doug, about random things before we jump into our show today?
Nope. I don't think so.
Okay. Good. Then let's jump in. I already spoiled the Taco Bell vegan nacho sauce, but the details, if you need it anymore, certified vegan by the American Vegetarian Association and promises all the warm sauce goodness fans crave, now with a vegan twist, says Taco Bell. Apparently the nacho sauce was well received when it appeared in the vegan crunch wrap test in June 2023. Haven't heard any more about if that's coming back, but apparently it was very successful, the crunch wrap itself. New coffee research has been done. For most American coffee drinkers, they're saying it really is the best part of waking up. This was not conducted by Folgers. It was conducted by one poll, and they found that 4 in 5 coffee drinkers, 81%, say coffee is what motivates them to get out of bed in the morning. And I wondered about the wording of the survey. The coffee definitely is a motivator. I think about it very soon after waking up, not usually while I'm in bed, but soon after I think about it, and then I think suddenly everything brightens up when I remember that there is coffee. And
is that true? Is that real? Because I read this and I thought that is total BS. There's no way that 81%, 8 in 10 people are only getting out of bed every morning.
8 in 10 coffee drinkers, first of all.
8 in 10 coffee drinkers are getting out of bed every morning because they get to have some coffee.
Well, that's
Either this coffee that I work really hard to make a good cup of is not nearly as good as I think it is, and everyone else is drinking way better coffee than I am, or
it's probably possible that,
or I'm just one of the few that aren't motivated as much. I mean, I love coffee, and I make it, early on, but like it's certainly not what motivates me to get out of bed.
Yeah, the wording here that it is what motivates them. Does that mean like it's the thing that someone says that's the reason I get up, or is it just one motivator? Because I don't know. Even that's a little strong language, like I said, for me. Like that doesn't motivate me to get up. It just makes me happy when I remember that I'm gonna have it. So I don't know.
I mean, I look forward to a nice, warm cup of coffee, but also it's not how soon after you've woken up are you actually drinking coffee?
I don't know. Within 30 minutes. It's not like I immediately go do it, but I do it pretty soon.
Okay. I'm more of a run days. It's 2 hours. Non-run days, it's closer to an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good because then it means you don't need it. You don't want to need something.
No.
So it's good to be able to just enjoy it, not be addicted, not need the first thing. I don't know, but you know what? If you are, who cares? It doesn't. It's an amazing beverage that everyone loves it this much, and they do, and it has seemingly no bad side effects, and maybe is good for you. It's literally a miracle drug compared to alcohol or any kind of other street drugs or whatever. They all ruin lives. This doesn't ruin anybody's life. It just is delicious and makes you happy, and it's pretty cheap.
I bet that coffee has ruined the people who obsess over the right cup of coffee has ruined some marriages.
Probably ruined marriages, but it doesn't ruin their life because then maybe they realized they had to meet a like-minded coffee person.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Well, okay, 42% of hot coffee drinkers say they would prefer to give up social media instead of coffee if faced with the choice, and I would definitely agree with that. I would be one of those.
100%.
You'd pick coffee over social media?
I would, yep.
But
because like you said, coffee doesn't feel like it's bad. I don't love social media. I'm addicted to social media. I don't love it.
So you like that choice because then that would be your out.
I would love if someone said today, Doug, you can only have coffee the rest of your life, or you can only have social media. I would choose coffee without a hesitation, and I would be happier for it.
But what if the social media button's still on your phone and it doesn't actually cure your addiction? It just says you're not allowed to have it.
So every day I'm just like,
every day you think you might be able to get it.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that eventually it would.
Because the point of the hypothetical isn't that you automatically get a free curing of an addiction, right? It's not, it's like a best of both worlds for you. I'll take the coffee and I'll cure my social media addiction.
Well, no, of course I would know that it would take a couple months or whatever to like get over the hump, but
right, like it all still exists. You're just not allowed to use it. I don't know. Okay. Cold brew drinkers, they're not as passionate, it appears. They only 31% would choose their coffee over social media. And I read some stats about the house thing too. Like a lot of people do like making their own thing, but some very high amount, 75% or something, said they did not believe that what they made at home was nearly as good as what the professional baristas can make.
So cold brew for me would not motivate me to get out of bed.
Definitely wouldn't. It's not the same thing.
No,
nice.
There's a time and a place for it, but it doesn't give you that warm, fuzzy feeling that a warm cup of coffee does. Yeah,
and that's the taste and smell, but then that feeling of warmth and goodness, that is what makes it a miracle product for me. I definitely there are nights especially when I get a new flavor of coffee, not flavor, but a new bean that I've never had before. Bean. Whatever. Yeah. I often think about that when I go to bed the night before. I'm thinking about having that in the morning, which is not the same as motivating me to get out of bed, but I definitely am thinking about it ahead of time. Cannot wait to have that.
Maybe I'm doing coffee all wrong.
You probably are. You probably do it the same way you do burritos and whatever. You just get it, throw it together, whatever. Don't worry about the recipe.
I don't know. I spend a decent amount of time, or I have spent a lot of time working on my coffee.
Oh yeah? What's your method now? I don't even know what you use.
Right now, my go-to is French press.
Okay.
Which is funny because like French press was the first coffee maker that I got that wasn't a drip coffee, and then I went through all these other things, and now I'm just going back to.
And you've Googled the new modern third wave instructions for how to do French press coffee, right? You're not just sticking to the old traditional methods. I hope. See, this is what I'm talking
about. So I fill it halfway. I let it sit for a minute, and I stir it.
Right.
And I fill it the rest of the halfway.
Okay.
Let it sit for another 90 seconds, and then press it.
And then you pour it out of the French press into a different vessel, so it doesn't sit on the grounds the whole time.
I don't do that. I pour my first cup immediately, which is into a Yeti.
Okay.
Because I can take it to school.
Right.
And then there's always a little bit like this cup that I'm drinking right now. Because I always go back for my second cup right before the show, and that has been sitting there in the grounds.
Okay. And how about the grind? Are you getting a nice coarse grind that's not going to get dust through the filter in your French press and brewing it? Okay.
Of course. Yeah, got a nice fancy grinder.
Okay. Well, then I stand corrected. You're doing more than I would have predicted that you're doing for that coffee.
Well, I don't know what that says about your opinion of me.
No, I just figured it was one of those things you might just mail in, but maybe not. All right, moving on. We talked yesterday about snacks and Ozempic. I happened to see a headline today that Pepsi is now thinking about this already. They're closely watching the growth of weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. I've never heard that one said. I don't know if it's Wegovy or not. They said the business impact so far has been negligible, but there are obviously a lot of question marks when it comes to what use they'll have on habits. And then this article goes on to say that if the use of appetite-suppressing medication becomes more widespread, it could cause consumers to cut back on purchases of food or beverage items or turn to less calorie-intensive products as people look to watch their weight. And so we were discussing it yesterday. Really, the only reason I included it here was because it kind of answered a question I had. We were saying, why would this stuff make people seek out the healthier snacks? Wouldn't it just, what did we say? That they just might snack less, or that they're still going to have the snacks, but they're not necessarily going to look to make them healthier. They're just going to be less hungry for them. But I Googled a little bit, and apparently the weight loss drugs, these things, they actually help people make healthier choices. So when they choose foods, it's not just that they're eating less or not hungry or not interested in food. They're saying it still takes work. You still have to do something. And it just makes it a little bit easier to, I guess, have the willpower or whatever it is to make the healthier choice. You're not quite so, triggered or whatever by these foods. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But more interesting than that to me is the fact that, these are massive corporations and a massive industry. And people are really afraid because if you read, this was just the summary bullets of the article, But the whole thing, like they talk about, like, yeah, but we've got a lot of positives in the pipeline that are coming up, and that's going to offset this. Like, they think this people eating less snacks and being less overweight is like a bad thing, right? It is just a net bad that they all wish would go away. And it's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I understand it. I knew this, but like, it's just to see these industries actually afraid. Like, if someone were to come out with a pill that was like no side effects, it actually makes you healthier, you stop wanting junk food, and it was just a miracle pill, they would hate it. Like, it's their entire, all this money, living, everything is all built on this idea that
people healthy.
Yeah, right. And so it's just a reminder, another, I mean, one of many, but another reminder, like these industries just exist to make people unhealthy. That's what they're there for. And if people are just eating this stuff in moderation, their businesses can't grow, can't thrive, can't be sustained. It just can't work like that. They have to have people just eating a ton of terrible food. So it's bad news.
The system is broken, Matt.
It is, and maybe these weight loss drugs will be the beginning of the revolution. I don't know. We'll see.
We might be at the beginning of something huge here.
Yeah, I mean,
I never really thought about it like that because I never was super stoked on the drugs themselves. But maybe this really is the great weight loss era.
Who knows? Maybe. And there's this greater awareness now of ultra processed food and of greater demand for shorter, cleaner ingredient lists. So maybe the weight loss drugs are part of that, or coming at the right time, and there will be this consciousness shift around food. I don't know. Who knows? Speaking of snacks, Meati Foods, who we are obligated to say every single time, they use mycelium mushroom root stuff that made Bianca vomit when she ate the Meati the next day, or that night she woke up. And some people apparently have an intolerance to it. Anyway, they are now selling jerky, which Veg News says, actually, I don't know if Veg News said it was good or not, but they were excited about it. That's where I learned about this. Cost $39 for a 3-pack, original peppered and sweet chili. That includes shipping, but that's still $13 per, fairly large pack of jerky. I don't know how many ounces or anything.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money for sure. I can kind of see this being good though. I'm really curious to try it. They use it. They embrace a quote whole buffalo process with it, where every part of their meaty stuff is used. So this is just the scraps that they're cutting away from the process. You think they could have priced it a little bit lower if it was just the scraps that they're getting off the floor.
Right, just throwaway stuff. Yeah.
Right. But no, it's maybe it can become a profit center for them. I don't know. I don't know. Somehow I could see this good. I've had some, or see this being good. I've had some mushroom jerkies before that are whole mushrooms. I think they're whole portobello mushrooms. I shouldn't say whole. They're the mushrooms chopped up, but they're not like processed pieces or root or whatever. They're just the mushroom and it's dried, and it's okay. It's not great, but it's all right. It's no Louisville sweet smoky Carolina barbecue jerky, that's for sure.
Oh, that is the best vegan jerky I've had.
Yeah, it is good. That stuff.
I was craving some jerky last week to bring on my long run, and so I went to CVS to see if I could get some of the Beyond jerky. And they didn't have it anymore, so I don't know if they've kind of reduced that product line or what. But CVS, I asked if they had it somewhere, and they said they haven't. They haven't been stocking it. No.
It's odd that CVS gets all this vegan stuff in the first place. The Beyond stuff,
it is weird. Yeah,
the peanut butter cups, and now Lindt chocolates. That's going to be there. So yeah, it's just I wouldn't think people who go there are typically looking for vegan things, but maybe. All right, so there's your jerky minute, and NYC Food and Wine Festival. This is also from Veg News. They've got every year a highlight of the event called the Blue Moon Burger Bash, presented by Pat LaFreda Meat. So I don't think it's presented by Blue Moon the beer, but Rachel Ray hosts it. And this year, ViaLife is a sponsor of the festival. So they've designated a Powered by Plants award in the burger competition at a big food and wine festival. So that's kind of a big deal. The interesting catch to me is that to qualify, the burger only has to contain a minimum of 25% plant-based or alternative protein in the patty. And they must be topped or paired with a plant-based or dairy-free condiment, sauce, or cheese. So there's how ViaLife gets their product in there. So they said the spokesperson, Wayne Berg, I don't know who this actually is, but probably, I think he's someone from ViaLife. He said the award only requires 25% plant-based protein to allow chefs the flexibility to showcase the versatility and flavor of our plant-based products while still incorporating other elements into their creations, etc. So I guess they're going for the flexitarian thing here. And
Yeah.
we talked about the hybrid burger being a maybe kind of surprising potential for plant-based meats. So I don't know what to make of that, but it's cool that they're at least calling it plant-powered or powered by plants.
I like it. I think it's good.
You think it's better to have it be that than the 100%? You have to do 100% plant-based.
Well, I mean, of course, like I would prefer to go there and have it be 100% plant-based, but I think that if we can start making it normalizing adding plant-based proteins in with your meat burgers or your meat dishes or whatever, then that there's a lot of potential there. So
yeah,
this feels like a good step to do that towards doing that.
Yeah, it also means, I mean, I don't know if it says it's a burger bash and it's part of the event. I don't know if it's a contest to make the best burger or the best burger in different categories. I'm guessing it is, since they've added this plant-based award, so it probably is a contest. But you could imagine if it is only 25%, then it's possible some of these burgers with plant-based components will actually become the best burger or the runner-up or whatever, and be winning the other awards too. I'm not sure how that all works. I don't know if they go in their own category, but that would certainly not be a bad thing if that was happening. All right.
Lady Draws the Lot asked if we've been to Zinburger in Asheville yet. Have you been? Have you done?
No,
is it a food truck?
Never even heard of Zenburger. I know Farm Burger. That couldn't be
Farm Burger, sure.
She means, right?
Zinburger appears to be plant empowered.
Okay.
Ooh, it looks like burgers with, you can see the seeds and stuff in there. It looks great.
I've been to what's the food truck? Is it Dirty Vegan or something like that? There's like some kind of, it's not slutty vegan, but it's sort of like that sounding in Nashville.
Yeah, and that's not very good.
I mean, it was just a bunch of vegan. Oh, trashy vegan. It's just a bunch of vegan.
Yeah, vegan junk food. It was good. I mean, I shouldn't say it wasn't very good. It was good, but definitely,
yeah,
a lot of Beyond Burgers and stuff.
Yeah, it's just that. Which, a lot like my idea of going to the Veg Fest with a giant vat of ultimate Gardein tenders and just frying them up and selling them for like $12.
I regret saying that about trashy vegan.
Yeah.
I take it back.
Local politician trashes trashy vegan. Takes back comment next minute.
I retract that statement. Every time I've gotten it, I've been excited that it's there.
Okay. All right.
Lady Draws a Lot says you have to try it. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna seek out Zinburger.
Okay. You'll seek that out over trashy vegan?
Seek them both out. Sounds great.
All right. Good. Okay. Speaking of things like trashy vegan, Slutty Vegan is, of course, famous restaurant. Their founder, I believe CEO, Pinky Cole, who's always in the news now for opening new locations and getting stuff in Target, slut sauce, slut dust, whatever it is. She now has a big Fast Company article on her today, which I looked through a bit today. Good article. Read that if you'd like. But in it, they mentioned her new book. I didn't know she had a new book out. It came out Tuesday, just been out for 2 days already. It's called I Hope You Fail, 10 Hater Statements Holding You Back from Getting Everything You Want. And of the book, Pinky Cole says, it's not your typical classroom text, which is good, right? No one wants to read the typical classroom text. That's a good idea you didn't put that book out. Sometimes you read a book and it's like watching paint dry, says Cole. I didn't want that. I wanted something super practical for the people who are like, all right, I'm not a book reader, but I'll read your book. And I think it's good. I think that's fantastic. So hope it does well. I think it was ranked 11,000 at the moment on Amazon, which is actually lower than I would have thought the week of release.
Yeah,
being what a superstar she is. So I don't know. Maybe the book's not a huge part of the whole marketing behind that brand because it got so much else going on. I don't know, but it's not like it's doing bad. I mean, it's still pretty good, and I don't know anything else about the stats. So anyway, hope that does well. Yeah, that's it. There's your weather report. That's all we got today.
You know why, in part, why I'm retracting my statement about trashy vegan?
Yeah, I do, because you don't like saying controversial things, and you're a local politician, and you worry about everything that we say because it might get brought back up against you in an upcoming election.
No, that's not true. You don't think I like saying controversial things?
No, you always like if I say we're doctors, you say, no, we're not doctors.
Oh, well, yeah, because I don't want us to get sued.
Okay.
No, because they also own the Dough House in Black Mountain, which I love. The donut shop, the all vegan donut shop.
So suddenly their food truck is good. The food there is good now because they own a place that you like.
No, well, I just like eat it. Yeah, good point. Okay.
And
I'm
what's
just
the
saying.
Dough House? Pizza?
No, it's donuts. It's the vegan donut shop,
Okay.
and it's
Oh,
delicious.
okay. All right, good.
Mhm.
So they have a whole vegan empire there in Asheville, Black Mountain.
They do, yeah.
Good for them. I hope that continues because I don't know. I mean, Asheville's always very good vegan friendly, but there when I lived there, which was 10 whole years, there wasn't that much like dedicated 100% vegan stuff. A lot of like vegan options on menus, but plant was like
Mhm.
the one, and there were a few others that came and went. But I'm glad to see that Asheville needs pure vegan things.
Yep, I agree.
Good. All right. Okay, so let's see. What do we got here? I think we saw some coffee stuff. Daniel P likes my Emery says so nice. Thanks, Matt, for my generous donation. And Daniel P says that's really nice. So look at that. Good things for me. Being a stand-up guy. All right, Mr. Jeffrey says, I'm maybe not motivated for coffee, but more like, okay, well, I can have coffee so I can survive. Yeah, I mean, it is. It definitely makes mornings that aren't so good seem better. When I wake up, for whatever reason, intentionally or not, with early bus stuff, when you remember that you get to at least have coffee, that really helps survive for sure.
Mhm.
Dale Stevens says, I think morning coffee is more comfort and the ritual for me. I have it within 10 minutes of waking usually. They mentioned in this article where I read those stats that that coffee is, and this is, I think, a coffee company spokesperson was saying this, but he was saying coffee is one of these simple things in people's lives that's like a ritual, and as opposed to so much distraction and other stuff. And that's when they then turn to the social media stat, which is a big distraction. So it's interesting that people would choose their ritual, their simple thing with nothing unpredictable, pick that over the wild west that is social media. So I thought that was good. Steve says, "Wow, Matt throwing down on Doug." I guess a little bit today. Went after his coffee habits, but I was wrong about that. And now,
Which was not about my coffee habits. Let's be real. It was
right, it was
about
about your food habits.
is well, just I think that you think that I just the only conclusion I can draw is that I take the easy way out in everything I do.
No, I don't think you did in everything you do. I know that you don't do that in everything you do, but I thought that coffee would be one of the things where you do. I think here's what it is. I think you tend. I definitely, no doubt about it, have kind of an obsessive nature about a few things. I'll get something
definitely.
and I'll just go deep into it. And I don't think you have that. But
That's
so
right.
when we have a common interest, I'll tend to do that, and you'll do a more laid back approach. But and so I thought coffee would be that way because coffee is one of those things that I've gone a little bit off the deep end with.
Well, I would
Not
say
entirely.
that I don't have this whole like chemistry lab in my kitchen like you do with your coffee, and I wouldn't. And also like the Chemex, right? The glass thing, and people do the pour over with the Chemex. I am always a cup of coffee. Watching the amount of work that like to make a full Chemex for a couple people, a couple cups of coffee. It can take so long to do it, and I don't have the patience to do that. Sometimes I just, I'm making 4 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and my coffee, and trying to wake up in the morning. Like I don't have time to make a 20-minute cup of coffee, right?
Well, I don't know what happens when you make Chemex for a bunch of people, but when you make a single person version, it's the same as the French press. I mean, it's almost identical. There's still a little waiting time when you bloom it, and then there's still the grinding, and you still. I guess you pour it slowly for maybe 2 minutes instead of dumping it in, but that's it. Same thing.
Okay,
but I understand. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got an article. I turned to you, Doug, in a time of doubt today. I said, I don't know what article to talk about. I don't really, not feeling moved by any of these. And you picked one for us. So there we go. So if anyone thought I was bashing your broadcaster abilities by saying you're afraid of saying controversial things, now they know otherwise. That I turn to you when I don't know what to do. So you picked this one, and I think it's a good choice.
Yep.
It is from fooddive.com, one of my new favorite sites. Alternative protein poised to solve seafood supply and demand imbalance. And the idea, of course, is what you might think the headline would tell, or the subheadline tells you. Although plant-based seafood has a competitive edge over beef in terms of price, consumer acceptance is still a steep hurdle. So plant-based fish, really fairly new thing. This article points out that the first plant-based seafood company was founded in 2021. Good catch. Who was acquired by Wicked Kitchen in 2022. I had no idea it was that young of an industry. But anyway, we've been talking about it. It seemed for a while to like this strange thing, like a really gross thing. It's plant-based seafood. People just thought that doesn't seem good. But I don't know. A third of the articles that we see about plant-based meat, we don't talk about them all on the show, but that I see when we compile this stuff is about plant-based seafood, different kinds, and high-tech stuff that they're doing with it. So it's definitely a growing thing for sure. This article says the current market for plant-based fish was valued at over $800 million in 2022, projected to progress at a 5.5% compound annual growth rate between now and 2032. Those numbers, I don't put much stock in those because they're subject to what happens with the entire, industry, industries, and you just can't predict that. But I looked, and that's like a fifth or sixth of the overall plant-based meat market. So it's kind of surprisingly big. Like for as niche as plant-based fish seems, I'm surprised that it's anywhere in the realm of the numbers that plant-based beef is selling. So it's a booming thing. Anyway, the interesting thing about the article, really the only point that's that exciting here is that they think that plant-based meat might be, well, I sort of inferred this from what they said. They said there's this price thing with seafood. Seafood has a bunch of high-priced stuff. They said, premium bluefin tuna can cost $40 to $200 a pound for premium and super premium cuts. And in general, I think if you're going to go to the store and you're going to buy a pound of fish, it's been a long time, but I think that's way more expensive than buying a pound of beef. Is that correct? I know there's all different levels, which
it depends on the fish. But yes, I would think so. Like a pound of salmon is probably more expensive than a pound of ground beef.
Is there really cheap fish though that would be the equivalent of ground beef?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So I was just sort of assuming here that like most fish is more expensive than most beef, and since it's all coming from vegetables and plants, and I'm sure there's different prices within that, but I'm just guessing it probably costs about the same to produce some plant-based fish as it does to produce plant-based beef once you're at scale. And so therefore, if the real fish tends to be more expensive than ground beef, then it's going to be easier to achieve that much sought after price parity with the animal product. So that's kind of what they say here, that it's a much easier price point to hit, for example, the $40 or $200 a pound number than $4.99 a pound for ground beef. And the other big point, which is I have no idea how valid it is, but they said the world's fisheries apparently are like massively overcrowded. Like 85% of fisheries, if I can find this stat here, are pushed to or beyond their limits. So wild caught seafood has been flat that selling, and I think it's because they just can't really produce any more without major sacrifice in quality. So I don't know if that problem exists with cows and chickens and things, but I don't really think so, right? There's like, are those things, obviously they're very, very full.
As many as you have space for, I would imagine.
And how come they can't do that with seafood? Oh, because it's wild caught and it's just
wild caught. Yeah. And there's most states where you have fishing, probably all states where you have fishing, and every country around the world has limitations around how many you can catch and the type of fish that you can catch, size, all that stuff. So it just makes it, you run into a point where there just aren't enough fish for you to.
Okay. So that's a push to or beyond limits means. It's like a scarcity of fish. It's not really
definitely.
I was not really thinking straight when I was reading this. I was imagining very crowded, stocked fish areas, but that's not, of course.
No. I think they're running out of fish.
Right.
And hitting their max. But that's why you have farm raised stuff, right?
Right.
and then that introduces a whole host of other issues.
Okay, but isn't this? I mean, isn't it the exact same analogous problem with like wild or whatever grass-fed beef where they're like free roaming?
But I think
Right.
there's probably plenty of space. Like if you wanted to have a free roaming grass-fed beef farm,
No problem to go.
it probably wouldn't be that hard to get started.
And why is fishing different though? Like why is there a scarcity?
Because you're still, even if it's free roaming cattle, you're still breeding the cattle and introducing however many you want into the land.
Okay, but
like you still control the supply.
Right, still farm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, interesting.
All right,
so
Mr. Jeffrey says there's no good regulatory body overseeing international fishing waters. That's interesting. So fishers are required to report their catches, but it's estimated that only 30% gets reported. Interesting.
Okay. So anyway, I
don't think anyone's breeding fish and just releasing them into the ocean.
Right, because then they just go away. You can keep track of it. You can keep track of where the cows go and
exactly
keep them in a pen, and they'll still be relatively. Their product they produce will be very much like what a wild cow would give you. Whereas with fish, it sounds like that's.
I don't know if there are wild cows, but yes.
Yeah, well, what a wild animal would give you, a wild buffalo or whatever, where there used to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the point here, what I think is cool is the possibility that plant-based fish, such a strange seeming thing, that maybe that's the future of plant-based fish. Like maybe that's the area where it's going to thrive. We think fast food is a big potential area because we can get the cost down, it appears, for really cheap plant-based meat, and it's nearly indistinguishable. But fish, who would have thought? So I think that's pretty cool that might become the one. I do wonder though, like, it sounds like in theory this would be good because there's this scarcity of high quality seafood, and this could fill the gap. But is anyone thinking of this like in that realm? I mean, is any seafood? I guess you can't say a connoisseur, but someone who eats fish and says, "Hey, this is a healthy thing for me, and I kind of like the taste or the luxuriousness that it feels for me to eat fish."
Right.
So I'm going to swap that for a plant thing that is sustainable. Like I just feel like all those health benefits idea is erased as soon as it becomes plant-based.
I wonder that too, because I mean, on paper it makes sense, right? That it's easier to reach price parity when the fish is $40, a pound or whatever, instead of $4.99. Like, but are people who are willing to pay that much for fish, right? Bluefin tuna, like buy a nice cut of fish. Would they be excited at all about a plant version of that? I don't know.
I can't imagine.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. And the plant version would be half the cost, right? It's not like it'd be anywhere near that much because I don't think anyone would pay nearly that much for a plant thing. I don't see how it would happen. But if it was half that much, or $10 instead of $40 for a pound, still kind of expensive compared to the ground beef cost. Yeah. Could it be? I don't know. I don't see what non-vegan would do that. I really don't. Like I said, like with beef, there's this idea that red meat might be unhealthy, and that by swapping it for something made from plants, it is healthy. With fish, there's not that. People think that fish is healthy when they eat it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so when you swap it with plants, all you're doing is swapping in processed stuff. So then you've only got the downside when it comes to health. I don't know. And like any omega-3s or whatever, that would also be added in there. And it could be. It's possible that they would make it, try to mimic the fat profile and whatever else. I don't think the fishy flavor is a problem. You can get that by those same fatty acids or fatty things, omega-3s, once heated or cooked, whatever, like they definitely get that fishy smell to them. Flaxseed oil, good example, smells very fish-like to me. So I think they can. Yeah. I think they can do a lot of stuff, but they're not going to help.
You do take out the heavy metals. That.
That's true.
That's a good point. Sarah Curran mentions microplastics in fish these days. I mean, you take out that kind of stuff.
That's true. That might be a big concern for people. I don't know.
I mean, I guess like enough to pay top dollar for a plant version, maybe.
Well, yeah. I don't think anyone's going to pay that kind of prices. But if it's way cheaper and it's like a comparable thing, I don't know. People might do it. It seems weird. I also wonder, like, will anyone in like the traditional fishing areas, like people in port towns and things where people eat seafood all the time, like would people get, if you're not a vegan and you go to this, would anyone like get that there, or does it totally just
ruin
it and not feel authentic and real if it's.
I think it would ruin it. I would. If I ate fish and I went to, if I ate lobster and I went to Maine, I wouldn't want a fake lobster. I'd want a real lobster.
I wouldn't either. But if you're vegan and you go to Maine and you have a lobster, whatever.
Vegan lobster roll, I am getting that. That's what I'm saying. In a heartbeat.
Right. Feels like you're doing something authentic, even though the meat is not real. But yeah, to the meat eater, maybe it wouldn't. So I don't really know. We'll see where this goes.
Coastal places, unless it's a big city, are some of the hardest to get vegan food.
Yeah, that is very true. You go to seafood restaurants and you think, well, it's a seafood restaurant. They'll probably have plant-based stuff. That seems pretty easy to swap. But they don't, because like I said, everyone thinks the plant thing's already healthy or the fish is already healthy. No need to have a vegetarian or vegan dish on there because everything's essentially vegetarian in some people's eyes when it's fish.
Yep.
So yeah, very hard in those seafood places to get plant-based. Hopefully these will catch on. One of these brands will stand. It'll be like the Impossible
of seafood. That'd be
fish,
cool.
Yeah, and they just always have that. That'd be great.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, but I'm definitely over the idea that plant-based seafood is gross. The few times I've had it, it's really it's not that different from like plant-based chicken, but I don't know. Those crab cakes I had, I thought were pretty good. And then I had them a second time and they weren't nearly as good. But I still thought they were
I would love a like a good fish for like fish tacos, not the Gardein. I mean, that's fine. Like that's great, but it's breaded and everything. If I could just have like a cut of fish that I could grill up, that'd be awesome.
Isn't fish tacos typically fried breaded fish though? I think it is. Mr. Jeffrey can tell us.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I think fish and chips would be a good dish to get. If I ever go to London, I hope there's a good fish and chips vegan place.
Fish and chips.
Yeah, that just seems like a great meal. Lunchtime. But that's just breaded. But you can get. I'm sure you can get that type of fish, like vegan fish right now. But I don't do that. I never go look for that stuff. Maybe I should. All right. That's about it. We're out of time. We're over time actually. Anything else? No, not really. Nothing else.
Nothing else. Nope. Except to snag your free VIP ticket to Plantapalooza Longevity. Go to nomeathlete.com/longevity to sign up.
Okay. Good. And when does that begin, Doug? When does the festivities?
It begins on the 25th. But when you sign up, you get access to a bunch of freebies.
Right away.
Yep. Cookbooks and Katie Hay, my wife, Katie Hay, we are including a bunch of her yoga videos this year. So you get on-demand yoga classes.
Good.
So that's cool. And then a bunch of cookbooks featuring most of the incredible headliners. Plant News, Carly, Rip Esselstyn, Dan Buettner. So many others.
Yeah. Mr. Jeffrey says link in the Discord. It's just nomeathlete.com/longevity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm putting that. He says it's grilled fish in fish tacos and it's in Mexico. Fried is a USA contribution.
Yeah, I thought that too. That too.
Interesting. Good. All right. That's it. Doug, you have any Thirsty Thursday plans tonight? There's no good football on. It's Chiefs versus somebody. I don't know. I'm sure it's good if you like football, but I don't care.
We got a gig coming up, so focus on the band.
Oh, really?
Right now. Yeah.
Wow. Like a dry practice session. There's no drinking because it's so serious. Focus.
Well, it's not for a couple of weeks, but so no. I mean, you gotta. It's like it's like they say that if you're studying for a test, you should do it in the state that you're going to take the test in and help you jog your memory. If I'm gonna have drinks while I'm playing a gig, then I'm gonna have a few drinks when I'm practicing too.
Because you couldn't possibly not have the drinks while you're playing. It just wouldn't.
Exactly.
Wouldn't
Yeah, of course.
All right. Good. Well, I hope that practice session goes well. Yeah, that's it. I hope everyone enjoys the weekend. Do something fall-like. Do a hayride. Do a haunted thing. One of those haunted, what are they? Farm things?
Haunted mazes?
You ever done one of those?
Is that what you're talking about?
No, they're like things that are just designed to scare you. And you see billboards for
haunted house?
On the highway. No, I mean, maybe they have a house on the premises, but it's like you go to some farm and you pay $20 just get scared for half an hour. People just jump out and Jason stuff, Freddy Krueger stuff. I think on 81, there's always ads for those kind of things. And I think they're around here too. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really been to one. I used to go to haunted houses when I was a kid too. But so anyway, hope you find something fall-like to do, everyone.
Yeah.
And that's it. We'll be back on Tuesday.
All right. Sounds good.
For a fresh new week.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.